Hey folks, and welcome to my thoughts on a comic. And today's comic is Champions Issue 1 by Hero Comics. Now there is fighting and gun shooting and laser shooting in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, let's start what we usually do. Now I've actually looked online and there seems to be several champion teams, which is a bit confusing. There's these guys, and then there's the Marvel Champions team that have Black Widow, Ghost Rider, and some other ones I can't remember. And then there's like the new champions, the incompetent teenagers who really need way more training and discipline. And I wonder if this the name is copyrighted or what. I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway. Alright, so the story is by Dennis Mallonee, I hope. The pencils are by Chris Marrinan. Great, two names in the letter M that I don't know how to pronounce. Inks are by Dell Barnes. Okay. Letters are by Jen Simek. That's a new one. And colors are by Janice Cohen. Alright, yeah, that's about everyone. As usual, this will be down below. Alright, so we have quite a nice, bit funny little story. Alright, so this team of champions is consistent of the marksman, him, Flare, Rose, and Icestar. Icestar has icy powers, Flare can fly, and she can absorb light and then just shoot it back at you. And Rose can make. You don't see much of her powers, but it looks like she can maybe shoot flowers or shoot a flowery scent at you. I don't know, I'm not entirely certain. And Marksman used to be in the army, so he's a tactician and he's very good at fighting and using weapons. I would take it. One moment. Right, sorry about that. Alright, so we start our story with the marksman and Rose practicing fighting. He's teaching her self-defense, so she wouldn't, just rely on her superpowers. Which, when you think about it, is very smart. Maybe that advice should be given to the writer of Fate. Because without her superpowers, she is fucked. But anyway, he's teaching her self-defense. She really hates him for it because he keeps beating her. Well, obviously, he has years of training, and she's just starting. So she manages to knock him out in a dirty way by she uses her powers cheating. But then he knocks her back. But he does tell her that she did a good job because 3 weeks ago she wouldn't have been able to, knock him out by surprise. Not knock him out, but take him by surprise. So anyway, they train in the park, which I didn't get. I mean, they are secret identities, so why do it in the park in the eyes of everyone? I mean, it's a big park, but still, it's not really smart. I don't know. They train, and then Flare flies to them, which is again even more telling. I mean, yeah. So Flare comes down to see them, and they're apparently looking for an extra team member because a previous team members of theirs has died or was killed. Yeah, that I can't remember his name. Started reading this yesterday. So anyway, he's gone. They're looking for someone new. Marksman goes through, he's looking for people. And then Flare brings a file of someone. Apparently, she was reading Icestar's fan mail. I get fan mail. And she found someone's application there. Now, they don't take applications, apparently, as Marksman tells us. But still, Flair's very excited about it, so he tells her, you know what? We'll take a few days vacation. Why don't you start yours now? And, you go and check out this guy and see if he fits for our team. And that's it. Now, there's 2 chapters in this one, so that's chapter 1. And then chapter 2. Okay, so chapter 1 is the new age of heroes begins. And chapter 2 is more than flash and glitter. Alright, so in the second chapter, we see Flair arrive. She goes to Los Angeles, flies there more accurately. She lands and she's looking for the Galloping Glopper. Forgot to check what that name means. All I can think of is Glop. Probably not that, no. Right, the Galloping Glopper is apparently the whole story. His grandfather used to fight with a cool sword and all that, and she's excited and obviously has a crush on him. So, she's down in the streets. She's like, "Excuse me, I'm looking for," and then he arrives. And he's like, "You must be tired after your flight. Why don't you come and freshen up in my apartment?" Naturally, she is ecstatic. So they arrive at the apartment. He said, "I need to go and stake out some evil villains." Viper. Yeah, Viper. Apparently, it's a team. It's an organization. So anyway, they go out to a stakeout. Flair constantly, tries to get him to go on a date with her. It's kind of cute. So they sit there on the roof. She makes suggestions, and then when something is about to happen, she's about to ask him something. Then a car appears of the villains. Apparently, they have bombs and they're planning to use them on the city. So they go, they said, "Okay, now we need to go and, quietly and take them by surprise." So he jumps down and Flair flies down as well, but then she kicks a bunch of guys together. That chick has some powers. He manages to knock out one, and he says that, that the great and all, but now we don't have the surprise factor anymore. They certainly heard that. So they're about to go through the door, and he tells Flair to go on first and glitter. I mean, glow. And then he says, "Okay, go and say something dramatic." So then she starts glowing. They shoot at her, but it doesn't work. She's okay, and they're all, blinded by the light. So he goes in and starts kicking them, and then she joins. And then now they need to, and then more guys come. But their fight scenes are actually entertaining. So then some more guys are coming. Says like, "Come on, we need to make sure that we're not trapped. That we have somewhere to run." So they run into a room, but then the villains begin to negotiate with them to come out. There's like, "If you come out, we won't kill Flair." So then Flair starts glowing again in the room, and they see that they're inside the room with all the explosives. So obviously, one wrong move and things could go bad there. So then he's like, "Oh no," Flair's like, "Oh no, what do we do?" And he said, "Don't worry, I have a plan." And he's like, "We're gonna surrender." And Flair's like, "What?" I was with her. I was just like, "Wait, what? Surrender?" But don't worry, the dude has a plan. So they go out, and then he takes out a bomb, but not the kind that'll make you into a pile of meat. So it's a bomb that glows, so he throws it. They start kicking these guys. Flair joins. They One of them destroys his sword. He breaks it with his gun, but then Glopper pulls out his own gun, and Flair also shoots, and they manage to defeat the bad guys. Yay! So and then they talk, and he's like, "Flair, you're very nice young lady, but you're very, reckless in battle. Well, she does occasionally jump too early in. And he's like, I don't think I can train you or your team. So anyway, he thinks that, he sent his whole application thing to train them. He thinks, I can't lead all of you. And Flair's like, what? Lead us? It was funny. But oh wait, before that, she's like, "Oh no, your sword." It's like, don't worry, I have many like these. My grandfather built them. She's like, "Built them? It's not an heirloom that passed down from generation to generation." And she's kind of disappointed for him. But to be fair, I mean, he never said there was an heirloom, so I don't see why she's pissed there. I think in that case, it's her fault for misunderstanding the details. But then he says, but if you want me, to train you, you could stay here a bit. He puts his hand on her arm. Yeah, you can stay here a bit, and I'll show you some things, like legitimately train you. And then she punches him and leaves, and is like, now I need to take a bath. Which I don't really understand. I mean, he wasn't suggesting anything bad. No, it was a bit of a bellend. Before that, when he said, I'll train you. I can't be your leader. I have too many things to do, but that's no reason to punch him. And he wasn't just suggesting to train you, that's all. I don't know what to tell you. I think Flair is a bit emotional at times. Yeah, so that's how the story ends there. Oh, and there's also a bonus story, which I'll get to now. In here, the story with Icestar. So Icestar is in San Francisco. He comes back. He flies there. People gather around. My daughter wants an autograph. She got an autograph, and she also kissed him. So she wanted more than an autograph. And then he hears the noise, and there's apparently a bank robbery. So he goes after the guys. He freezes one of them to the floor. They work for Viper as well. And then he chases the car. He manages to stop it. He's on the roof. They get out. We're about to shoot you. And then he freezes the second guy's hand. And he's like, okay, I'm not going anywhere now. And the police arrives. But then the third guy starts running. Icestar chases him. He goes around the corner, and Icestar's like, now I'm going to get you. You can't escape. And then he bumps into a civilian. And he's like, sir, did you see a costumed man running that way? And he's like, no, and you should, watch where you're going. Now, apparently that's the third guy, the third minion. I guess we can call him a minion. He has some sort of suit that got him a hologram. I think it just showed an hologram of a suit. Something like that. So he didn't recognize him, and he goes back to his boss, who kind of looks like a Bond villain, the one where you just see the hand petting the cat kind of thing, and you'd never see the face. So that kind of thing. So he's like, I'm sorry, madam, I didn't, manage, but here's the money I did manage to bring back. Then she gets pissed and knocks the money and says, I don't need, this money that wasn't earned. Keep it to yourself and be gone. And he's like, thank you, madam. You're very generous. And then she looks at the screen at Icestar's picture. And she's like, I want to get to know you better so you're not just a name on the screen. And that's where that story ends. So overall, this was quite entertaining. They seem to be a nice team. The Flair is very... Yeah, Flair is like those, very sweet but slightly over-emotional women. And she is competent in fighting, which is good. Rose looks, looks like the I can do it myself type, where she wants to prove to you she can do it, she doesn't need your help. Looks like. Marksman, he's the oldest among all of them. He has the most experience in fighting, so I think he makes a good leader. Icestar looks like the kind of funny, cheerful one, at least based on this first issue. So overall, they make a nice team. I think they'll be nice to read and stuff. And the lady villain is, well, not enough about her. But interesting. She's not the typical angry one, though. Alright, let's get to the art. So, I like the cover. It's really nice. And colors as well. I don't know when this came out. I don't think this is from the 90s, though. Based on the art inside, anyway. Doesn't that kind of look like Power Ranger? Her outfit, I mean. Alright, so there we have Rose. She's a ginger. And she's very pissed. So, I mean, the art is nice. I like the faces and the bodies, but I like the background art. It's really bland. So, not among my favorites. So, you see, that's what she uses her powers. So, I think she makes flower perfume, which distracts you. Probably. So, but then he kicks her back. And she's still pissed. He did defeat her. And then Flare comes down. She brings the letter. She has a cute costume. If only they gave a nice costume like that to Captain Marvel. Alright, Miss Marvel, the new one with the movie. So yeah, there's the Goppler. Man, I need to see what the hell that means. I mean, all I can think of is glop. It's probably not it, though. Alright, there's chapter 2. We see her flying. And that's the Goppler. His costume is, colors are bland. You see, she likes him. Alright, there they, oh wait, where are they? Ah, there, they freshen up with his place. And that's the Viper team. They look like twats in those costumes. I mean, look. The helmets are just terrible. Well, then they go down the fight. You see, she did them with one punch. And more fighting, more flaring. Now, look, that's when they're in the dark room. That looks like they're about to kiss. They don't. Then he's like, we give up. Ah, yeah, we give up. Now we surrender. I was like, what? That's the sword breaking. You can see the art's not bad. It's colors are just bland, so it doesn't really. It's not really that eye-catching. So then, he offers to lead, and I can train you. I still don't get why she got so pissed. I mean, he just offered training. She could have just said no. I don't know why she went so pissed. Why a bath? Kind of funny considering she was, all over him prior. Now the police. There we have, or is that an ambulance? Never mind. And then we have the team, we have information. She works as a part-time librarian. He repairs phones. Rose, I think, is a detective. And he's an ex-army man. And there's the Galloping Glopper. Alright, and there's the short story. And we have more men from also Viper, pretty sure. Alright, there they are. And you see his ice powers. His suit, the colors remind me of Captain Cold. To be honest. I see that's the bad guy in the now suit. He fooled him. Look at that face. See, it turns into a hologram. That's the bad late. Look at this here. I don't know if it's a coloring mistake or what, but it looks like she doesn't have a head. You can't see it very well on this camera, but the paint is so light, it looks like she has a shadow head. It doesn't look like she's in shadows, but the black is just not. It's too. It's too light there. It looks like a shadow. Like she doesn't actually have a head. So that's a painting mistake, or is that on purpose? I don't know. I mean, there's like nothing above her that makes that shadow either. I don't know. Anyway. So then she's like, keep the money, and there she is. I have to say, though, she has a nice butt. I mean, look at that. And that's her suit, and she's looking at a picture of him. And, I wonder if you see more of her in the next issues of this. So yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like the typical Bond villain, but also not. And then there's some ads, and that's the next issue. They're gonna fight the Fat Man. The Fat Man. And some more info. And one of the best things in here, there were no ads. After that, the Deathstroke, I needed something a little ad-free. Fucking hell. So yeah, overall, this is a fun story. Yeah, it's entertaining. You don't have to think too much about it. The characters look nice. You got your team leader and everyone. Everyone seems to have their own personality. So yeah, this is a fun story. I would recommend it as a pastime. And also, we have a villain with a nice ass. That's always a bonus. Alright, folks, so that is it. Let me know if you read any champions and if you know of any more champion teams. Until next time, bye!